My very first night by myself in the dorm, I was chilling in my room. My roommate was there. My roommate was some dude from the Virgin Islands, just some white guy who was had like he was like really into rap, and he wanted to like be his own DJ, but he was also too dumb to get into the program like me. So we were both undecided, wanting to be journalism majors, and we decided to meander out into the hallway. And the way the dorms worked is that every 2 floors would share common area, things like laundry room, in places to hang out, like seating and shit like that. So floor 2, we were connected to, and we were hanging out on the seating area of floor 3 with me and my roommate Kyle. And we're just hanging out, talking. And I'd made fast friends with a girl on my floor whose name was Jessie. And I believe Monsters University had come out, and we decided it'd be a fun floor activity for everyone to get to know each other, to go out and watch Monsters University and then get food and eat. So we're talking in the 3rd floor lounge, me and Kyle. We're waiting for everybody to show up for the movie time. And I yell, "Hey, Jessie!" And then all of a sudden, from downstairs on the 2nd floor, I hear, "What?" I'm like, 1, that doesn't sound too much like Jessie. And 2, what would she be doing on the 2nd floor? We had barely become acquainted with the 3rd floor folk. To have already moved on to the 2nd floor folk would be a little bit insane. A little loose even. So I investigate. And I find a different girl who happens to also be named Jessie. We shoot the shit. We're talking. Casual questions. Where are you from? Yada, yada. I find out that she's visiting a friend who lives on the 3rd floor. And they're just hanging out on the 2nd floor because she has friends there. But she doesn't go to ASU. She finds out a lot of facts about New Hampshire, such as the old Man on the Mountain, which is one of New Hampshire's most prideful points to visit, although it recently fell down. And by recently, I mean 20 years ago. But we still care deeply about it. The old Man on the Mountain. Look it up. It's a real thing. It's a real thing. It's probably like the most important thing we ever had. But we lost it. So anyway, needless to say, I'm flirting. I'm throwing on the moves. I'm finding info about her. And so I'm like, "Hey, we're going to see Monsters University. You want to come?" Bear in mind, this is like my first week at college, my first night hanging out with people, and my first time meeting her. And she's like, "Yeah, sure." So we go. We're talking the whole way. I'm dropping heavy lol W's. Boys, it is insane out there, the amount of lol W's I am farming. And in the back of my mind, I'm like, I want to sit next to this girl when we're in the theater. So I'm walking intentionally slow. I'm walking intentionally slow so that when we get in, we can guarantee sit next to each other. We get there. We get to the theater. It turns out everybody had already sat. My roommate Kyle happened to be on the end. He didn't smell that great, so it kind of makes sense. So I sat next to Kyle, and then Jessie sat next to me. And we're on the very end. And the movie starts. And then, quick aside, I remember during the movie, at one point, Randall and Mike Wazowski have a moment where they talk about how they enjoy being roommates together. And then I put my hand on my roommate's knee. Very funny. Hella lol W's. Anyway, I don't remember much of the movie because it turns out this girl was down a smooch. It took me like 10 minutes frozen to make a move. My first move was I saw her hand move from her thigh. All right, this is the move. I saw her hand move from her thigh onto the armrest. And I was like, that's not more comfortable. And so I thought I would follow suit. Turns out, smart decision. Then she was a lot braver than me, made the move for a kiss. And I was like, poke, 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 poke. And we made out for like 30 minutes of Monsters University. And then I asked her to stop because I really wanted to see the end of Monsters University, and she was kind of ruining it because I couldn't see past her. Turns out, not really worth it. Movie kind of sucks. So we've made out. The movie's over. We're going back to the dorm. And at this point, I should explain to you my dorm situation, my living situation. Taylor Place is one of the newer dorms created in Arizona. In fact, most apartment complexes you'll find in Arizona were built in the past 5 years. So we had a really nice dorm. In fact, we had bathrooms in our dorm. Pretty rare. But at the end of the day, it was a studio apartment with 2 people. We had our halves of the room and slept across from each other. And I didn't know etiquette at the time. If I had known then what I know now, I probably would have asked him to step out for a bit or whatever. But I didn't even think I was going to get laid or anything. I was naive. A small town boy from New Hampshire in the big city with a girl native from Arizona. I ask her if she wants to hang out at my place. She comes over. It's late. The lights turn off. And we start getting a little freaky. Bear in mind, Kyle is in the room during everything I'm about to tell you from here forward. We are on a twin bed. I have my ugly, ugly ass green comforter from my high school bed. We're hanging out. We're smooching a bit. It's getting a little hot. And then she turns to me and says this. Do you have any condoms? And I turn to her and I say this. Condom? No, I didn't buy I don't have condoms. No. Should I have condoms? I don't have condoms. Do you have condoms? And then she's like, no, I don't have condoms. And I'm like, so can we? She's like, no, we can't. Obviously, no, we're not gonna. And I'm like, okay, cool. Yeah, obviously you wouldn't if you don't have condoms. She's like, yeah, you're not gonna if you don't have condoms. I was like, yeah, we're not gonna if you don't have condoms. But then she's like, we can still do some other stuff.
It's me, Mario.
And I'm like, yo, I like other stuff. Other stuff is cool. And so, about 7 feet away from Kyle, I get my first ever Hummer. And it's PogChamp. But then after it's all done, and I did my thing, I'm like, what do I do with her? I don't know etiquette. All I know is what I did in high school, which was pretty much finger bang Casey on my friend Evan's couch. So that's what I did. And I am not kidding. I was trying to be very conscious about Kyle and not be too loud. But at one point, she said, and I am very confident now that she was exaggerating to boost my ego. This is kind of embarrassing. Fuck. Should I even say this? She goes, how do you do that with your fingers? And at the time, I was naive enough to have thought we had shared the moment between us. Until the next morning, and I see Kyle already sitting with the entire 3rd floor, retelling everything that happened and everything we shared. From me not having to condoms to her saying that. So for the rest of like that month and the semester, anytime anything involved the hands, someone would ask me to do it. They got a jar they need to open. Ludwig, I heard you're good with your fingers. Essay they need to write. Ludwig, fingers. But as you guys might expect, the story is supposed to be about losing virginity. And I kind of failed at that front. Still a big virgin. Now, as I said at the beginning, she did not go to Arizona State. She went to community college. She lived in, like, Gilbert. So I didn't get to see her that much. And we had hung out a couple times, but it was in group settings. It wasn't until exactly 1 calendar month, September 26th, that we were hanging out again. And this time, I was prepared. I went to Target. I got hella condoms. I went to self-checkout. The lady at self-checkout who was monitoring it was like, come up here, I'll check you out. And I was like, no, that's okay. She was like, yeah, come up here. And I was like, no, that's okay. She said, come here. And then I came there, and then I gave it to her. And I was like, She's like, and it was really uncomfortable, but I did it. I also was smart enough this time to make sure Kyle was going to clear out. So I let him know. I said, yo, can you like hang out at our neighbor? Our neighbor was Priya. I was like, can you hang out at Priya's tonight? He was like, yeah, I got you. And so we had the night to ourselves. And so I think we had like a dinner or whatever. But finally we get back to my dorm. and things start getting a little hot. And I'm like, ooh, it's happening. And I'm nervous, man. I'm not gonna front. I was very nervous. I had no idea what the fuck I was doing. She had already lost her virginity, so I was like in this game by myself. She was basically doing cannonless, and I didn't know how to make the cannon open to even get the star. I didn't even know the cannon had a star. But I really wanted to do it because I liked her. She was hot. And also, I will say, bless her heart, she was very supportive. Women know much more than men how to soothe the ego. And so I'm allowed to tell this story because my ego was so well soothed. Anyway, it begins. Do our thing. Get all started. I throw the condom on. And now, here's where I should let you know. My bed just happened to be against the same wall that shared Priya's room. Which I didn't think was a big deal. You should put beds in corners. It saves space. And we start Missionary, a classic, timeless. And I'm doing my thing. And I get about that far before I'm like, oh shit, man, we're hitting Cool Mountain early.
Mamma mia!
But bless her heart, Jessie was very supportive about it. Didn't make me feel bad at all. Was like, yeah, it's chill, it's whatever, it's normal, it's fine, yada, yada, yada. I felt great. I was like, damn, I don't even feel bad about myself. I feel good about myself. 20 seconds would probably be generous. We get cleaned up. 5, maybe 10 minutes later, we go hang out in Priya's room because that's where her friend is and all of my friends. And for some reason, they're not doing anything, but they're just staring at me. And I'm like, what's up? And then Kyle, a man who is incapable of keeping his mouth closed, with all the grace that he could muster, goes,
Mario!
so you had fun in there? That was a quick one.
Dear Mario, please come to the castle.
Oh.
I baked a cake for you. Yours truly, Princess Toadstool. Peach.
For months, I tried to play it off. Oh, we moved the bed because we realized it was too close. Oh, there's a stone part of the wall. We switched positions. But nothing would suppress the taunts. And as you guys know, I can take a short joke and I can take a pre-cum joke. I'm not too hurt by the affairs. But they did let me have it.